And we are back with the fifth, and the final segment of the GSMC Basketball Podcast, presented by the GSMC Sports Network. And wait, no, that's the wrong thing. I accidentally pressed that button. I apologize for that. But anyways, we are going to go right ahead and go into the final segment, which is going to continue on with the list of the ESPN snubs, because, and the player snubs that I feel like, they should have been on the list, but they weren't on the list. Obviously, we left off at Dwight Howard. We said that he was left off of the ESPN's top 25 athletes of the 21st century, as well as the top 100 athletes of the 21st century. Both of those lists are made by ESPN, and I should also take note that, or it should also be noted that Carmelo Anthony also wasn't on the top 100 athletes of the 21st century, but over someone like Dwight, I don't think Carmelo Anthony should, I don't think someone should get that award. Like, if it's over somebody like Dwight, or the next player that I'm going to mention, he shouldn't be able to be on the list, because, if we really want to talk about who's an athlete, Dwight Howard was a crazy athlete. Obviously, he's not going to get that much attention now because of, and he's not really thought of as a dominant center because of what Shaq said and, what Kobe thinks of Dwight. But aside from that, or what Kobe thought of Dwight, I should say. But aside from that, I think he really is, so far, he's the best player on this list. And arguably, he's arguably better than Kyrie Irving. Now, this is one of the controversial players, especially, when you're talking about ESPN, and because how should I say this? This isn't the first time that Kyrie Irving has gotten snubbed from a list that he definitely should be on. If you want to talk about some of the top 25 athletes of the 21st century, I think Kyrie is supposed to be up there. People forget Kyrie was being talked about as, the only guard that was worse than him or was better than him in the league was Steph Curry and Russell Westbrook. Those were the only point guards that were better than Kyrie Irving at a point in time. And another list that he was also snubbed of, aside from the top 100 athletes and top 25 NBA players, he was also snubbed off of the NBA's top 75 team. And he was supposed to be on NBA's top 75 team, but he got removed because ESPN, a lot of the people didn't really like his approach and his stance during the coronavirus pandemic. I'm not going to talk about that, but essentially that was arguably, according to fans, that was allegedly one of the reasons why he wasn't on the top 75, because the NBA didn't really want to acknowledge him, especially after his alleged anti-Semitic quotes, or tweets, I should point out. Again, allegedly, that's what the media was saying when he posted all that stuff. And at the time that he posted that, this list was being made, and he had a whole highlight because when people get voted onto the top 75 team, they get a whole highlight reel of their career. He had a highlight reel, but because he did what he did, they ultimately removed him from the top 75 and they replaced him with someone else. But that highlight reel was more than enough proof to have people think that he was supposed to be on that list. And I personally think that he should be on this list as well, because he should most definitely, I think he should be over Luka Doncic. There is an argument for him being over Russell Westbrook as well, in my opinion, but I'm not going to really get into that because we'll be here forever. But again, I really think he should be on this list. He was the first pick in 2011. He won an NBA title with Cleveland in 2016, being one of the only players in the history of basketball to come back from 3-1 in the NBA Finals. And he also recently helped the Dallas Mavericks make it to the finals again. And in 13 of his NBA seasons, he's made 8 All-Stars and 8 NBA he made 8 All-Star teams, and he's made several first-team All-NBA appearances. and he's averaged 23 points, 5 assists throughout his, the majority of his career. Actually, no, scratch that. He made All-NBA second team appearances, I should say. I apologize for that. And he's arguably, like I said before, there's been debate that he is, supposed to be the best point guard in the league aside from someone like Russell Westbrook or Steph Curry. Like, at the time when he was on Cleveland, that was what he was doing. Now, another player that potentially, got snubbed was Damian Lillard. The only reason why I put Damian Lillard on this list is because he actually made NBA's top 75. And that's really the only reason that I have. Because aside from that, I don't think he should have made top 75. He doesn't have many awards to his name. His career on Portland is a little bit, it's a little bit meh, but a lot of people are only going to remember him because of, his deep three-pointer against the Oklahoma City Thunder, as well as the rest of his, playoff series that ended with him hitting a game-winning shot. Now, aside from 2019, though, he hasn't really done anything in the postseason. And he also ended up finishing top 8 in MVP voting 5 times, but that's about the only thing that he has going for him. Again, now, this other player on this list is also, he's a bit controversial because this is Paul Pierce. Again, like a lot of people, they're only going to remember Paul Pierce for his championship with the Celtics, as well as leaving on a wheelchair just because he wanted to use the bathroom. That is like the only thing that he's really known for. And he's also known as a vivid LeBron hater. But he ended up winning a championship in 2008, his only championship, and he also won a Finals MVP there. And he made the All-Star team 10 times in his career, and in an 11-season span from that as well. Like, he's by far been one of the best small forwards in the Eastern Conference for the longest time, in an era where LeBron was dominating the small forward, as well as, Carmelo Anthony. But aside from that, the fact that he was snubbed from this list as well as ESPN's top 100 athletes list is I'm very surprised by this. And on top of that, another player that I'm surprised that wasn't on ESPN's top 75 list is, well, not 75. Well, yeah, ESPN's top 75 team, as well as ESPN's top 25 prospects of the 21st century, is Klay Thompson. Now, as I said, he was snubbed from the ESPN's top 75 team. A lot of people don't agree with him being snubbed, and he actually made a joke saying that he was the 77th best player in the history of the NBA. And when you have a team and you have, a duo as iconic as the Splash Brothers, it's very difficult not to acknowledge both of those players and just how good they are at three-point shooting. Like, Klay Thompson I believe he's ranked second in most playoff three-pointers, and the only player that he's behind is Steph Curry. If he's not behind Steph Curry, then he's behind LeBron or something like that. But the only reason why LeBron is on that list is due to his longevity. Meanwhile, Klay Thompson is due because of his actual skill at three-point shooting. He's high up on this list despite playing way fewer playoff games than LeBron and way fewer playoff games than many other athletes that actually make this list. But again, he's just a freak three-point shooter, and the fact that he wasn't on this list but Draymond Green was on this list is a little bit concerning. But that might be because Draymond Green actually has awards to his name, while Klay Thompson doesn't really have that many awards, and the only real thing that he has are his 4 championships. But again, I feel like being a top 5 three-point shooter in the history of basketball should put you on this list, as well as put you on ESPN's top 75 list. But that's all the opinions that I have on Klay Thompson. His opinion has somewhat soured since his time with Golden State, mainly because, he went 0 for 10 in an elimination game, which is never good. But, aside from that, those are really the only snubs from both of the lists, both of the top 75 lists as well as the top 100 athletes and the top 25. Like, there are several players that didn't make either of those lists. And I could go on and on about other players that should have made this list as well. Like, for example, T-Mac isn't even on the top 25 players of the 21st century list. Neither was, Vince Carter or any of those players like that. But again, I don't really feel like, with the other players that I mentioned, I don't think that their careers are enough to warrant them a spot on this list, and I don't think they have the resume to do that. But that's just me. But aside from that, that is all that I have for you on this final segment. Thank you so much for tuning in to the GSMC Basketball Podcast, presented by the GSMC Sports Network. Your support means a lot to us, so remember to subscribe to the show, leave a positive review. It really does make a difference. We also invite you to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram for more content and updates. As usual, please remember to use the link in the description to get your comments recognized, or the link displayed below the ticker. That is gsmcpodcast.net. It really helps the show, makes it much more interactive between myself and you guys. That is all I have for you today on this final segment. I am your host, Nelson. Enjoy the weekend, and as always, take care.
Let's go. I wake up to a little bit of drool on my pillow, feel like it's gonna be a bad day. Yeah, I'm tired of shit, and the coffee ain't hit yet. Damn, ain't that great. I don't wanna go.